Hey, 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 everybody. It is day three, and welcome to the Broken Pieces Challenge. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have just been so overwhelmed with joy by just the reception that I've been getting from this challenge. I mean, I have just been getting so many people in my inbox and just telling me that I'm doing a great job. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Sneeze. Oh, excuse me. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that is watching. I feel like I'm trying to come down with some type of cold and I'm trying to fight it, guys. So just pray for me because the devil is a liar. He is a liar. And I know that he is madder than a hatter, but that is just okay with me. Fine, excellent, because I'm going to keep pressing on and keep doing what the good Lord has sent me to do, which is this challenge. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead. Oh, you know what? I forgot one thing. I told you guys I like to give out prizes and I like to give things out. And I've been watching in the group to see if people have been joining or if there's anybody out there that has been doing their homework. And I saw last night that Miss Carrie Ash did her homework and even posted in the group. And that's what I love is I love activity. I love for people to show that they're actually taking in what they are receiving and actually putting it to work, because that is going to play a part in what I am teaching today. So Miss Carrie Ash, for you being the first to post in the group in regards to the challenge and to show that you are doing your homework and you were even helping some other folks out, you are going to be the winner of a $50 either gift card, cash, however you want it. You tell me, you go ahead and inbox me, Venmo, I PayPal, I Cash App. So that's right. And those of you that have been in my past challenges, you guys know that it is real. I do get down with the get down and I do bless people. That's right. Because that's what God has given me the pleasure of doing, is blessing people. So we are going to get into this challenge. And thank you again, Miss Carrie, for doing that, because you showed that you just want to be a winner. And being a winner for God is a beautiful thing. Let's start at the beginning, guys, not at the end. Let's start at the beginning. So today is day 3 of the Broken Pieces Challenge. And today is Search Your Faith File. That's right. Search your faith file. And as you can see, I have a microscope there with some files, because that is what we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be talking about search your faith, faith without works is dead, and God the record keeper. That's right. So in search your faith, you have to understand that in order to have the ability to search your faith is that you have to have some faith, right? You have to know what faith is. And you have to know that God, faith, is going up against some things in life, that these things might be difficult. Not everything that we come up against is going to be easy. Uh-oh, someone's trying to call me on Messenger. Sorry about that, guys. I hope you guys don't get bothered by that. You never just know what people are doing. So, I love this quote here because it says, only in a world where faith is difficult can faith exist. Ooh, do you see that? Only in a world where faith is difficult can faith exist. So if you know how God is not going to give us everything that is always so easy. He's always going to make sure that anything that we're doing, that we're going to know that his hand is in it. And when you look up the definition of faith, it says complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And then it says strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion. So if you have strong belief in God and you know what he is doing, then you know that God is going to do any and everything that he can to make sure that he takes care of you, right? Because you have a strong belief in that what he's capable of doing. So 2 Corinthians 13:5 says, examine yourselves, whether ye be in faith. Whether you be in faith, meaning whether you have that faith, you need to still examine yourself. Prove your own selves. Prove yourself. Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. So if you know that God is God, and you know that God is looking at everything that we're doing, and you know that God is making sure that he is taking care of our needs and the needs of everyone else around us, if we're giving him prayer, if we're giving him supplication, if we're giving him that time, then if you see the end of that, it says, except ye be reprobates, meaning that unless ye be people that are just confused, people that are just not in their right mind, people that are just, basically looked at as a folly. And a folly means like, someone that looks as a joke, someone that looks as humorous, and do you want to be the butt of an end of a joke? Do you want to know that the joke is on you? Or do you want to tell the devil that he is the joke and the joke is on him? Because when God has given you this power to do the things that you need to do, then that means that anything and everything that you're doing, then you are knowing that God is in the midst of. So that means that you don't need to see to believe it. You just need to have the faith that God is going to do it. He's going to work out any exchanges that need to be worked out. Remember yesterday we talked about that it has already been established for you. So all you have to do is walk into it. So if you know that your faith has established something for you, you no longer have to think about it. You just got to do it. You just got to keep going, and you can't let anything or anyone set you off your path. And sometimes we get so easily in our thoughts and we say, well, God, can you, should you, would you, could you, And the thing is that it's not should you, would you, could you, it's could you. It's yourself. Can you? Will you? Will you believe enough in him that he will put those things to pass? Are you not believing in his word? God is greater than you. You are not greater than him. So if you are putting your faith in God, and that means that there is nothing that you need to worry about. You need to search within yourself. Again, here comes the mirror. You need to search within yourself. You need to look at everything that is before you. Is this for me, God? Is this not for me? If you are commanding your morning, then you know that God is not going to bring anything to you that he cannot bring you through. So when God is bringing you to something, he's definitely going to bring you through it. He's not going to give you something that you can't handle. He's not going to say, oh, I think you can. No, that's us. That's us saying, I think you can. God's going to say, I know you can. This is why I brought this to you. Like I told you, this is something that God has already established. So that means that he's already completed it for us. He's just handing it off to us and saying, you know what, you go ahead on. You go ahead, because I got faith in you that you're going to do this thing. And that's where we need to keep our minds and our eyes on the prize. We need to keep knowing that because we are not walking alone in this, that because God is walking with us with every step, then we don't have to have that fear or that anxiety or that knowledge of saying, well, I need someone else's help. You got the greatest ally. You have the greatest ally that there is, and that is the ally with Jesus. So as you're searching, you have to think, like I said, faith without works is dead. So if you look at this picture, it says what we are. This is what we are currently. And it says in the middle there, leap of faith. And then it says what we want to be. And then on the bottom, it says make that jump. That means that some of us, we can't make that jump. Some of us, we're afraid of making that jump, or we're too afraid of walking into that place because we're allowing all these things to say, well, it's a space kind of big there. Maybe I can't do it. You have not found that you have approved yourself of anything, because the question is, are you approved? Are you approved for what God has for you? Think about that. Are you approved for what God has for you? I know you can answer it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But you have to tell yourself that. You have to listen to him, and you have to know that you are approved. God would not have given this job to you if he did not already see that it could be done. James 2:14 says, "What doeth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him? Faith alone cannot save you. Faith alone cannot save you, because God needs to see that you are actually putting that faith to work. You are actually saying, you know what? God brought me to it. He going to bring me through it. Let's go. Let's go. Everything I'm pushing off on the sides, and we going through. Hey, we got to lock arms. If that's what we got to do, we going to lock arms. We going to do this. We're going to get it done, because I know that my daddy sits high and he looks low, and he is making sure that everything was meticulously done in my favor. In my favor. Because of that ally, you have the greatest favor on your life. You have the ability to go into places and say, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is how it has to be done. There cannot be no shortcomings of it. It needs to be done by this date. You see what I'm saying? We have to know that because it's been established, we have to speak it. Be clear about what we are speaking. Be clear about what God is saying that we have the ability to do, and not do it from a place of can I do this? No, there's no ums. It's yes, you can. You are approved. You can. God is on the other side of the Jordan. That's right. If we all stayed in Egypt, we wouldn't have crossed to the other side. He said, I'm on the other side. That's why he parted that Red Sea. That's why he did that, because he's on the other side. You have to get yourself in that mentality to know that you need to get to the other side where God is. You can't stay in Egypt. Egypt is nothing there for you. You know that you were imprisoned when you were in Egypt. That's the reason why God sent Moses, to let his people go. And that's the reason why we are here. Because we crossed over that Red Sea. We were able to get into the promised land. That's right. We were with Joshua. That's right. We didn't have to stay in that desert, in that destitute place anymore. We don't have to be in that desolation, because what God has for you, he said it's going to be plenty. The land of milk and honey. Come on now. So you have to realize that you have crossed over that Jordan. Your ancestors crossed over that Jordan for your freedom. So why are you still trying to go back to where you came from? The Bible says it's like a dog returning to its vomit. You are not a dog. You do not need to eat the crumbs that fall from someone else's table when God has given you plenty on your own. You do not need to look into someone else's household and say, well, you know, they look like they have so much more than me, and they not living right. They living like sinners, and they're doing this. And this person, you know, I know what they did. Don't worry about what they're doing. You are building your faith file with Christ, because, see, they have built a life that's unstable. You are building a life of stability. So everything that you are doing, because you started with the right faith, with the right foundation, God is showing you that with the right foundation, there will not be any crumbling. There will not be any faults and failures. There will not be that, because with those failures, God is going to show you that he's going to strengthen you. You see what I'm saying? So when I say no faults and failures, I don't mean that, oh, life is going to be hunky-dory, everything's going to be great. What I'm saying is that because God has built you this way, and this is the way that God wants you to go, and he's directed your path, he's going to allow you to be a living testimony for someone else that may need to see that. Because somebody else is going through what you're going through. But see, the difference is that you're okay to exploit what you're going through. You're okay to talk about it. Other people are hiding, and they don't want to say anything because they don't want to let people in, because it makes them look weak. But see, God says when we are weak, he is strong. You see what I'm saying? So our strength, he wants us weak so that they can see that our strength comes from the Lord. It doesn't come from ourselves. It comes from him. Because if we had everything perfectly done, perfectly planned out, we would again say it's all about me because I'm so great, because I need no help, and because this is what I do. It's not what you do. It's what God does in and through you. If you didn't have a level of thoughts about the things that you did, then would it be faith? Would you think about it 10 times harder? But it's that faith that pulls you through it. It's that love of God that says, I am with you. Let's go. So God is the record keeper. God knows everything. God sits high, like I've said, and he looks low. God has the Lamb's book of life. He has your name written in it. He knows exactly what you've done. And most people say, oh, okay, well, God keeps a record of all my bad things, and he knows every little thing I've done. So, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. No. On Psalms 56:8, it says, thou tellest my wanderings. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. And are they not in thy book? God knows what you've cried about. God knows who and what has deceived you. God knows the things that you have been manipulated and crossed because of other people's wrongdoings. He sees it all. And it doesn't mean that he punishes you for it all, because it's his grace that covers you for those things that you may have done. Some of you may have committed a crime and never got caught for it. Some of you may have drank when you know you were supposed to be on the mother's board or in the church choir or anything else. You might be smoking right now in the privacy of your own home. But see, God doesn't say that he can't use you. He's doing a work in and through you. It's his work that is happening inside of you. It's through that work that you will mature and realize that those things that you don't need, that those things are just weights, keeping you further and further away from God's grace and where he wants to propel you to, in position to. Because he can't put you in front if you still are holding on to all these different weights, and other people are going to expose you because they know of those weights. See, God's not going to do that to you because that's his grace. That's his love for you. He's giving you time to get it together. He's giving you love and speaking to you and say, baby, no, beloved, that's not for you. That's okay. I know it feels good right now, but that's not what I want for you. I desire so much more. I love you. I care about you. And I want you to care about yourself. He wants you to become a record keeper. He wants you to think into this place of where he can bring you to and through. He wants you to be able to be just as meticulous as him. Because God says he knows the very hairs on your head. That means he kept a record of that. That means that he knows exactly how each hair on your head is supposed to be placed and positioned. That's right. So if he knows the very hairs on your head, why would you think that anything that he does concerning you would be out of place or disorder? God is not a man that he should lie, or the son of man that he shall repent. Everything that he does is decent and in order. Your records are your legacy. God needs you to know that everything that you're doing, you need to make sure that you are keeping these things either written in a journal. So maybe where you didn't finish, someone else can come from behind and finish and complete your work. Isn't that what happened with Moses and Joshua? Moses just couldn't get outside of himself, so he didn't get into the promised land. but he died, and he was buried in an unmarked grave because of his disobedience and for the love of people. Do not be that person buried in that unmarked grave. Do not be that person that's so disobedient that wants to do it your way that you will miss out. And then your lineage, your legacy will continue on where you left off. Don't allow yourself to miss the mark behind being so caught up in everybody else's undoings. Work on you. Work on your place in God. Know that God is here with you in everything that you're doing because he wants you to know that he does not want you to think that he does not care. He cares about each and everything that you're doing. And how you know this is because when you go into the word and you start reading the word and you start understanding the word, you understand that there are certain scriptures there that are for you. Revelation 20:12 saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. It didn't say book. Books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. According to their works. So what does your faith file have in it? What does your faith file say about you? What does your faith file consist of? What can somebody go and find and see that, hey, oh my gosh, this person lived this kind of life and this is what they had going on? Because God wants you to know that he needs you to write it and keep it coming and not stop. This is why when you heard that Prince died and you heard that Michael Jackson died and you heard that, Tupac Shakur died, they had all this music stored up. They said for 20 and 30 years, they could release music. Release music. So think about this. If they have 20 and 30 years worth of music, because they knew they weren't going to be here forever. But if they had that stored up, what do you have stored up? What do you have stored up for God? What are you storing up for your children to see and for your children to do? If something were to happen to you today, what legacy have you left them? What have you done? So now you got to think, what have I done? Oh my gosh, I thought I was busy. I thought I was busy for God, right? Right? I thought I was being busy. But what kind of busy bee are you being? Are you being busy in God's business by making sure that you are setting up? Remember, train up a child in the way that he shall go, that he shall what? Never depart. So you also are that child in Christ. You shall never depart from what God is trying to do in and through you. This day is for you to think about your faith file. This day is for you to think about, what am I representing? Not just outwardly, but what am I representing? And that, hey, if something was to happen to me today and I was to be in the hospital, God forbid, and my kids needed some documents, have I let them know where all my important documents are? Is everything in place? Is everything filed? Is everything set in order? Can they easily get to the things that they need to get to? Because I have made sure that I have set it in place. That's right. We have to get our faith file in order. We have to not only get our faith file in order, but we need to get our physical file, our carnal, our virtual, our everything file. Everything in our life needs to be filed and set apart. So that way that everybody can have access to the same things that we have access to. You know, I love reading stories. And in reading stories, I read this story about this couple. They had been married for 50 years and they literally got COVID-19 at the same time. And when they got COVID-19 at the same time, it says that by their son's remembrance, that they put them both in the room together. Yes. Okay. So they could be around each other. And they said that they were married for 50 years and they actually passed away 50 seconds apart. Okay. But what did God, you know what God said to me in this? Because the son said this. He said, I never knew that my father loved so much. I never knew. He never showed any love like what I read after. Ooh, it gives me chills. He said, what I read after. He goes, I found letters that he wrote to my mother. And when you think about that, he never felt the love of his father himself, but he realized the type of love that his father had was not that he didn't have for him, but it was that he didn't recognize it, because sometimes we are so enthralled in what we're doing that we don't even recognize it. His dad stayed married 50 years to his mother, so obviously he loved. But what kind of love, what kind of things are we setting in motion? If we need to show our children that we love them now, keeping little trinkets of our kids. That's what I do. I have a filing cabinet and I keep old little things, what they did in kindergarten, what they did in first grade. And sometimes my son will go back. He goes, Mom, you still have that? Yep, I sure do. Because I want you to be able to pull that out and say, wow, she kept that. She really cared about what I was doing. I want my kids to know that I love them from inception. I don't want them to read about my love, even though it was a beautiful sentiment, but I don't want them to read about my love after life. I want them to feel my love in life. I want them to get it when I'm here. That's why a lot of times people say, well, don't you like flowers sent to you? Yeah, I mean, they're okay, but I really, really don't like too many flowers sent. And the reasoning why is because I feel that a lot of people send flowers either when someone dies or they send flowers because they're in trouble. And I don't want flowers out of trouble or Valentine's Day because they want a perception that they are in love. I want you to do it as surprise, surprise, surprise. It's not even nothing special. You just did it because it was just out of a simple sentiment of your thinking of me. It's just the simple things. And when you think about that, and when you think about the things that you've gone through, and you think about where you are currently, you can look in your faith file. You can see where God has brought you through. And you can stop acting like you are so bigger or better than the next person that you don't remember where you came from. That's right. That's what's going to keep us in humility. That's what's going to keep us in a humble state. That's what's going to keep us loving people like Jesus loved each other, equals. I don't have to look at somebody else's position to feel good about myself, because I know that this is where God has me right now. And I thank him and I rejoice with them where they are. But it's time for you to get yourself in order. And this is the other thing, is you have to remember that God says that we are not supposed to be leaving things for our children, but it says for our children's children. So that means for your grandchildren. What have you in your faith file, in your physical file for your grandchildren? Some of you aren't even grandparents. I'm not. But what do you have in order for them? What have you readied yourself for? See, this is why we have to be doers of the word. This is why we have to be hearers of the word. This is why we have to be speakers of the word. This is why we have to be readers of the word. Because God is showing us that there is no competition. Everybody has the same order. Everybody has the same ability. But what God has for you is for you. And what God has for me, he has for me. So today, I want you to search yourself and say, what is in my faith file? What is in my faith file? What can I do to change? Change the direction of where I was currently going. What can I do to make sure that I'm leaving that legacy? What can I do to just leave, as they say, a post-it or a note to those that I love? I want you to do this because God does it for us. He left a great record of the Holy Bible. He left a great record of his works. He left a great record for us to follow. That's why we have to pick up our own cross and bear it. Because you know that without God, we would not be where we are right now. It is because of that introduction to him. It is because of his graciousness that he loves on us and continues to show us that greater and greater can be attained and is coming if we get it all in order. So I love you guys so much. I thank you, Carrie Ash, again. I thank you, Pastor Leonita Hunt. I thank you, Apostle John Hunt. I thank you guys for again giving me this platform because I'm having so much fun. It's been just such a joy. And I relish in it because when God is teaching, he's teaching me too. I have to go over this lesson before I can even give it to you. He's teaching me too. So there's some things I got to check. And guess what? Checkmate, I'm going to do it because I got some things I got to work on as well. So you guys have a blessed day. And I hope that I will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow's but a day away.